Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube. My baby's smiling at me. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, so basically, finally, I guess finally for me, because I've been wanting to do this for a while. Well, I've thought about it for a while. I was like, girl, we're not gonna do that. But here I am. So basically, what prompted me is just wanting to tell my birth story. I'm calling it a trauma dump. But yeah, let's get into that. So basically, I'm gonna be sharing my birth story with you guys, and I also want to share. I just want to share the options that I felt like I had available to me in terms of where to give birth and all of that, especially because we were doing it without medical aid. So yeah, I found videos that were when I was looking for options. I found videos with like cost breakdowns and stuff helpful. So I'd like to be helpful in that way to someone else. So that's basically what, yeah, that is basically what this video will entail. Okay, so yeah, welcome. So anyway, yeah, so I'm sitting with my baby because I don't know when he's gonna sleep, and I'm like, let me just try to do this while he's awake and see how it goes. Anyway, so if you hear anything in the background, yeah, and if you see me looking like that, that's what I'm looking at. So what happened is, after I found out I was pregnant, I was then looking for options of where I can give birth and what it is that we can afford, especially because we don't have a medical aid. So yeah, I was sort of on the hunt of what is affordable and yet good healthcare at the same time. So I I had a relative who had given birth early earlier earlier this year or late last year, somewhere there. And she had given birth at a public hospital, and so I asked her how much that cost and so forth, and she told me it was like 500. It was quite affordable, 500, and that was for a C-section and for the nights that she had spent at the hospital, which was like 2 nights. So I was like, oh my word, that is really affordable. So that was the one option. The second option was to give birth at a private hospital locally from a gynae that I knew, and a friend of a friend gave birth there. She had mentioned that I think it was like around 25K to give birth with that gynae at a private hospital. I think those were that was sort of the figures, but I think, yeah, I think she was using a medical aid, so she wasn't sure of the figures. So this is really just yeah, I'm not 100 on that, but that's basically the breakdown of a gynae locally, and the appointments were like, I think 1 point something, 1.2, 1.4 for the, is it monthly visits, but yeah, for the for the checkups, that's how much it cost. And then I was also thinking that going to Bloem, a private hospital in Bloem, is an option. And I quickly figured out that wasn't an option, but I only figured that out after making an appointment with a gynae. And I think the appointment with the gynae, the first appointment was probably like, I think 2.1, 1.8 to 2.1. It was quite, for me, was quite heavy for just one visit. I was like, okay, we definitely can't do this. But I think I just wanted to know the cost breakdown and so forth. So I was a bit, yeah, I think I was sort of exploring the idea because I think I was thinking that's the most ideal option at the time. And I was thinking maybe we could stretch ourselves a bit without realizing that it's not affordable at all. So basically, it was going to cost around, I think 60K at a minimum if you were giving birth naturally at the private hospital in Bloem at Mediclinic. So I was like, Yeah, so if something were to go wrong, or yeah, all the extra stuff, or if it was a C-section, it would be like around 70K. And I was like, okay, that is not doable at all. So I think then I realized, okay, these costs are not doable. But the guy who was helping me that day, like who checked me for that first prenatal appointment, she suggested these ladies in Bloom, so they do like water births and stuff. So their practice is called Estherea, Estherea Women's Wellness Clinic, I think. But yeah, yeah. So after that appointment, then we went to go see them. We met Melanie, who was amazing. She was showing us around and so forth and telling us how they work. So yeah, and then with them, it was sort of, I think I would say around 24 to 25K. And you can sort of pay monthly as well with them throughout your pregnancy, but you have to pay by a certain date for that discount to pay around 24 to 25K, or if you pay late, I think it was somewhere around 28K the total cost. So yeah, those were basically the three options. I ended up choosing to go with Melanie, because yeah, I think we clicked. She was really nice. But that's not why I chose her. She was really nice. She knew her stuff, and I think just their attitude. Hi, Boa, but didn't say Boa. Their attitude towards yeah, giving birth and the woman's body and stuff like that. So they were very like saying stuff like, your body will know what to do. Yeah, just how God has given us these bodies, and yeah, and how capable we are. So I think I liked that mindset, especially because I think I did not want to have a C-section. I was very, very scared of having a C-section, to be honest. It was just, yeah, for me, it just seemed scary. So yeah, I think I was hoping for a natural delivery. There's all the, yeah, I was hoping for, let me say, a natural vaginal delivery. But yeah, I know there's all the politics around that. But yeah, so that was basically that. So that's who I ended up choosing. Yeah, so I think it felt like I had to choose either. So at some point, I just felt like I had the choice between either giving birth at a private hospital locally, or giving birth with Melanie. And I think I had some reservations, obviously. I think it's obvious if you're doing you're giving birth at a birth center. If something goes wrong, then you're worried, like what is my backup option? What happens if things don't go as intended? But I think she gave me, Melanie and I spoke at length about it, about what happens if things don't go well. So when you choose to give birth with them, you choose a backup option as well, and that can either be a private hospital, to choose a gynae, or a public hospital. So throughout your pregnancy, I think there were 2 appointments where I had to go to a gynae, and then the rest of them I was with Melanie the whole time. But yeah, and the thing, because we don't have a medical aid, my backup option was a public hospital, which I was quite on edge about. But I felt like, I was just like, God, I hope it doesn't get there. That's honestly where I was. Someone might say that's irresponsible, but you know what? Yeah, maybe not irresponsible, because I think she had told me that even with people going to the public hospital at times, it still works out, and that she's with you throughout the whole process. So she doesn't just drop you off there if things don't work out and do her own thing, but she really does stay with you as much as she can, obviously, because she doesn't work at a public hospital. So that was the conversation that we had. And yeah, I just felt like we can't have the private hospital as a backup, even though I was going to the gynae at a private hospital. But I was kind of like, I just can't have her as a backup. I can afford her for those 2 appointments, but it would become a big financial risk to have her as a backup if things didn't work out. So yeah, that was basically my mindset around it. Anyway, so my mindset was hopefully everything works out. It has to work out. So yeah, that was yeah, that was where I was about it. So yeah, that's what happened. Now to get into my birth story. So what happened is on the Monday, which was the 16th, 15th, was the 14th of August. On the Monday, we traveled to Bloem. So my baby is late at this point. So that was my 40-week appointment. So fine, we traveled to Bloem to go see Melanie. So we go to Bloem, we get to Bloem, have my appointment, everything's fine, baby's still healthy, blah, 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 blah. I think the only thing was that his head was not engaged properly. He was tilted to the side just a little bit. I think, yeah, it didn't sound like a major issue, but she did mention that it could make my my birth take a bit longer than it had to. So I was a bit stressed about that, but then they had, even from my 38-week appointment, they had told me to like lie in certain positions and so forth to help him engage properly. So fine, anyway, that was the only but, if I could put it that way. But it was generally a good appointment. And then even also because he was late, she did say because he's late, she can't go past a certain time with me. So she did say if he doesn't arrive by that Friday, she would have to refer me to a gynae. So that was sort of the conversation. And obviously I was like, oh my, yeah, I don't want that to be the case because, yeah, like I said, I really didn't want to have a C-section or, yeah, any sort of intervention, even being induced. I didn't want that. So yeah, from there, what happened is, yeah, so, and then she did a membrane sweep, which was, yeah, was quite painful. But yeah, that was sort of a natural form of induction, if I could put it like that. So if the baby is ready, then he'll come. If he's not ready, he won't come. So it was one of those things. And then she told me I could expect some spotting, and then, yeah, and discomfort and so forth. But that was that basically. So after that, I think, yeah, I think I bought stuff like dates in Bloom because, you know, apparently dates help and whatever. I had already bought raspberry leaf tea, I think, at 38 weeks. I started drinking it late. But yeah, all the people on TikTok and stuff, they'll tell you about the raspberry dates, the raspberry leaf tea, the dates and all that. So I was on that mission at that point. I was panicking a little bit, but yeah. And then I get home, and then there was some exercise on YouTube about how to get into labor quickly. So I was doing that. Just trying to get things moving, basically. My baby's making a noise. I think he's playing. Let me go check. So as much as it was in my control, I tried to do everything that I can. I don't know if any of it helped, but it is what it is. So that night, so I was thinking the membrane sweep didn't work because there was no spotting. So I was like, I don't know if this really worked. But I started having period like cramps that evening, but I just dismissed them. We went to sleep, blah blah blah. Fine. We wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning actually, and then the pain is still going on. So, and then when my husband woke up, I tell him, I'm like, I feel like this pain is still going on. And yeah, and I think I then texted Melanie and told her what's going on, and then she told me to take a bath or take a walk, and if the pain persists, then I'm probably in labor. So fine, I take a bath, and then the pain is still the pain keeps going. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably in labor, and I've started getting excited. I think that's the first time I danced because I was in pain, but I was so happy. I was like, today's the day. And the fact that, I mean, it looked like we were going to meet our baby, so I was quite excited. And I was really tired of being pregnant. So I remember, oh yeah, I took like a few pictures, a few like last pictures of my belly and stuff like that. Just because I was like, I just wanna, yeah, just wanna remember this moment a little bit with some pictures. So I took some pictures of my belly. Anyway, after that, after I think taking some pictures, and then I started timing my contractions. I forgot the app I was using, but I started timing my contractions. And yeah, I think I sent a picture of that to Melanie. I don't remember. But I started timing my contractions and all of that, and I even forgot what that even looked like. But yeah, so I was definitely in early labor, it seemed. So yeah, I think I ate, I started packing my bags because I still wasn't done packing my bags properly. Yeah, I think, and then at some point I started telling my husband to get ready as well so that we can leave. But you know how they tell you to like labor at home for as long as possible? I was also trying to do that. I wasn't really in a hurry. I think it was when I spoke to my mom. I was like, yo, May, this and this is happening. And she was like, yo, you need to go to the hospital. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I started feeling like, okay, we need to go. And then, yeah, very quickly after that, not very quickly, but yeah, I think, we started getting ready and so forth. From there, then we went to my in-laws' place. Yeah, we went to my in-laws before we left. We spent a bit of time there, and then we realized there were some things that, hello, we realized there were some things that we had forgot, so we had to grab some things from our place. So yeah, that was basically that. And then fine, and then it was my husband and I and my mother-in-law as well. So, and then we traveled to Bloem together, and then my parents were going to be traveling to Bloem as well, on that same day. So fine, we got to Bloem at, what time was it when we got to Bloem? We got to Bloem at like it was 3:30. I remember when we got to Bloem, it was 3:30. Melanie was already there. She thought she wasn't gonna be there, but luckily she was able to make it, which I was very happy about. So fine, she checks me. I forget what she does, but she does the thing, checks the contractions, and she's like, yes, you're definitely in labor. So yeah, and then when she checked me, I think I was at that point, she said 5 centimeters dilated, which I was honestly surprised by, because the pain wasn't terrible at that point. It was still bearable. So yeah, that was that, when we got to Bloem. And then I think after Melanie had checked me, then my husband and I started to get settled in. So it's like a guest house type of setup. If I could explain it, that's how I would describe it, like a guest house sort of. Oh yeah, buddy. Got to your house. So yeah, it was like a guest house type of setup. And then, so yeah, so we started settling in into our room, where I was going to be laboring, I guess, where we were going to be sleeping. So yeah, we settle in, and then after that, I think also now we needed to get some food. Melanie did advise that I eat so that I can keep my energy up. I had eaten earlier, but I only ate like a little bit. So yeah, she advised that we get food, but I wasn't really hungry. So yeah, I asked my husband, I think, to get a smoothie. I asked for Nando's as well, but yeah, I wasn't really hungry. So yeah, that in terms of yeah, what happened after I was checked. And then so my husband left to go get all the stuff that I had, and he had to get, I asked for snacks as well, stuff like that. Anyway, so he leaves. He left with my mother-in-law at the time. Melanie also had to leave because, why did Melanie have to leave? Melanie had to leave because of what is this? She had to leave because she had a birth the night before, so she had to go like clean up, get ready. And she was so kind about it. She like asked me if it's okay and stuff like that, and I was like, no, it's completely fine. I was alone for like a little bit. It was a very short time alone, but yeah, at that point I think I took a moment to myself and like to just say, God, this is happening today, and yeah, I hope everything goes well. I think that was why I think I cherished that moment a little bit. I think I needed it because I can very quickly get overwhelmed when there's like a lot of people around, and I think anyway, I think I got a little bit of time to myself, especially because it's a setup that is so free and accommodating that sometimes it just a little bit it felt like I just need a bit of I just need a bit of space. I just need to digest what's happening. So that was that. So after that, what happened after that? So fine, everybody gets there. At some point, everybody's there. My parents also got there at some point. So basically, my support people, but it was my husband and my mom. I had asked my mom to be there as well, and then and then they also provide a doula for you. They provide a doula for you as well, and then you have 2 midwives, but the other midwife only arrives a bit later. So fine, it started getting a bit late. I think probably 6-7 p.m. And then my husband and I left. I think our parents were in the other room, just having a chat. So I kind of left the room, and then my husband came with me, and then so the contractions would come. So they had shown him how to do the counter pressure thing, and he would do that, and it would it actually really helped. He would do that. I would feel a bit better, and then the wave calms down. So the waves calms down, and then that was that. So so he was helping me throughout. So my husband is helping me. Contractions are coming, they're going, they're coming, they're going, they're coming, they're going. At some point, I don't know when, but anyway, my dad left for the guest house where they were sleeping. I don't even know when this happened, honestly. I don't remember. And then my mother-in-law also left. She was sleeping at a friend's house in Bloem. So, and then my mom was there, and my mom was there, but I think she was still in the other room early on. It was only when I was transferred to the bathtub that I asked for her to come. So that was basically that. So then I think I was probably like 7-8 centimeters when they transferred me to the bathtub. And at this point the contractions are quite intense, but I don't remember them. The contractions were quite intense at this point, but I don't remember them being so intense that it was like unbearable at that point. But they were definitely stronger than they were earlier. So fine, I'm in the bathtub, and that made things a lot better. I didn't want anyone in the bathtub with me, so my husband didn't get into the bathtub with me. I thought I wanted him in the bathtub with me while we were still planning and talking about this. But I think when the time came, I was like, please no, I want my space in the tub. So that was basically anyway. So I'm in the bathtub, and then at some point in the bathtub, I was at like 9 centimeters. And we were all there. We were listening to music. We were blasting music. It was a good time, like it was a good time. My husband had taken his speakers, So yeah, it was very nice. We're listening to like some gospel music. It was very nice. So yeah, and then yeah, at 9-10 centimeters, I guess, because that's when you're supposed to push. Melanie told me, I don't think, yeah, I was struggling to push in the water, so she told me to get out and try to push on the I forgot what it's called, and they taught us what it's called. Yeah, I was in the bathtub. And then anyway, I got out, and then I had to sit on the thing and then try to push. Still, that didn't work. Yeah, and I guess for a long time, I honestly just kept trying to push. They kept changing me, changing positions, try this, try that. Someone wasn't ready for the world. So yeah, I just kept changing. I honestly pushed for such a long time. I think I pushed for like 2 hours, because at that point when I got out of the bathtub, I think it was probably half 11 to 12, in somewhere there. And then and he was only born at like, he was born at 2 a.m. exactly, that I remember. So yeah, I pushed for a while. But yeah, by the grace of God, he he's here and we were both healthy. So yeah, what had happened, so like, just to try to paint you a picture of the final moment, I had been pushing for so long, right? And I think she had tried using the vacuum once. I don't remember, let me not even so she had used the vacuum, I think, at that point, and I had tried so many different positions, and nothing was working. My husband was there the whole time going, you can do this, baby, you can do this. And I was like, I can't do this. Anyway, in this final moment, I think I was like, I never said I can't do this, by the way, but in that final moment, I think I just, like, it was as if I wanted silence, but I don't think it was what I needed, right? Because everyone around me, like my husband was saying, you can do this. The midwives were also like just encouraging me, like, come on, keep going, you can do this. And obviously at that point you are exhausted. Like I was tired, right? But I can't be tired anyway. So, and also they gave me a drip for some energy, so they provide stuff like that. But I was so tired at that point. And then so yeah, anyway, so the midwives, everyone is like, just come on, you can do this. And I think I just wanted silence. But anyway, in the final moment, Melanie, I think I asked them to switch off the music, because it was getting annoying. But in that final moment, I think I very vividly remember this, but Melanie was like right in front of me, because now I was back to the little chair after being on the bed, doing this, doing that. I was now on the chair again, and she was just like, yeah, I think she was like, this is like basically matla haya fella monana, like this is the last thing that she can do, and if this doesn't work, then we're going to have to go to the hospital. So that obviously scared me in that moment. And she's like, there's no reason why this baby can't be born. I just need you to push. So I was like, okay, yeah. So she was like, okay. And yeah, I think she just gave me that pep talk. And I remember her, like, she had tears in her eyes. I'll never forget that moment, honestly, because she was right in front of me, and the other midwife was, I think, on this side. My husband was right behind me, I remember. So he was just holding me, and then my doula was on this side, and then my mom was in the corner of the room. She was just praying the whole time. And I think, yeah, Melanie was just, yeah, basically saying, we're all here, we're supporting you, we're praying, and yeah, you can do this. So yeah, that was that. And then what happened anyway? So it was, yeah, and then it was one of those things like, you wait for the contraction to come, and then they tell you to push. And then so yeah, at that moment I had to push. I felt like I had to, because I felt like this baby, he has to come, because I was like, I can't go to a public hospital. Like, I just, to me that was like, it's not an option. I was like, I'd rather die right now, right here. And I guess that was the motivation I needed, because yeah, I managed to push the baby out in that moment, because I was like, it's not. Also, I think, thinking of, besides going to a public hospital, like just thinking of how long I've been pushing, and maybe that's for nothing, like it just felt like it would be such a, yeah, such a painful thing, I think, to have gone through all of that. Maybe it doesn't work out. So I just, yeah, I pushed, but I think that whole, I pushed, the baby came out, it's such a blurry moment. But I mean, I remember the moment when they're like, yeah, the head is here. So yeah, yeah, that's what happened. My baby was here, and then we were all very happy. Yeah, I don't know if I was happy in that moment, to be honest. I think it was really just a big relief, a big I did it, and like it finally worked, just because I had been doing it for so long and I was so tired, right? So my husband describes it. I was like, for me, it wasn't the romantic movie thing, like where it's like, oh, you've been pushing, and then when the baby's here, you fall in love like immediately. You're like, oh, I think for me it was a little bit of like it was really hard to get there, so I think I felt a bit numb at that point. But yeah, my husband says, I know for him it was like the movies. But I guess, I mean, of course, it had to be. But yeah, and then that was that. Baby was here, and then they check you. After they check you, my baby's getting sleepy. Anyway, let me check on him, and I'll finish off. Anyway, I need to wrap this up, because the lovely person is, yeah, he's getting a bit fussy. He's quite tired. And how I gave birth, yeah, and how we came to have a little one. So how two became three. Yeah, it was quite hard, as you heard, and I think the difficulty came with the pushing stage. That was really hard. I think I handled contractions pretty well. But yeah, the pushing for me was so rough. And I think after I pushed my baby out, I wanted to cry, but like I said, I felt like a bit numb. There was a numbness about it because of how tired I was and just the relief. So yeah, I kind of just basically, after that, the baby is here. So after the baby's here, they put him on your chest first. So it's like, oh, he's on my chest, and my husband is behind me, and it's all cute. And then after that, they give him to the dad to do skin to skin with him as well. And then while they're doing skin to skin, they check you as well. So that was also very painful. So after that, then I had to be stitched and all of that, because I did tear. But yeah, yeah, so I did tear, but yeah, so they were stitching me after that, and I was just like, woo. Anyway, when is this gonna end? Aibo, Aibo, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, buddy. So yeah, after that, basically that was that. After being stitched, then they basically helped him to latch. He latched right away, so that was amazing. So I guess my struggle, there wasn't more of a struggle after that, luckily. So yeah, the baby, he latched right away. And yeah, basically from there, and then we went to sleep, and I think the midwife was, I think, coming routinely to wake me up so that I can feed the baby. I think change his side as well. Change the side that he's feeding on. I don't remember properly, but yeah, she came in a few times, and then they'll also like press you. I don't know what that's called. and yeah, there's obviously some bleeding involved. Yeah, but at that point, Ganite, it wasn't painful. It was just, yeah, it was just, yeah, it was just one of those things. But I think I woke up the next day. I think because of the numbing agents and so forth. When I woke up, the next day, hey, big boy, hi, big boy. I finally put him down after taking 100 breaks. Anyway, um, I'm too tired now. I'm just way too tired. It is in the morning. Melanie comes, checks the baby. She checks me as well. I don't remember her checking me, but I assume she did. But yeah, anyway, and then my mother-in-law came to meet the baby for the first time. I was also quite emotional, I think, in the morning. I think I was not as tired anymore, so the tears were there. So it was quite emotional, I think, seeing everyone meet him for the first time. And then my dad also came with my mom in the morning. So my mom didn't sleep there. She went back to her guest house at night. So so my dad came, and obviously I think because my mom was there, she had obviously told my dad what had happened. So my dad was very emotional as well, and I think it was then that I cried, like, because I was like, I think just feeling like, yeah, just that thing of like, yeah, it's like it's a happy moment, it's all nice, but I think also just saying that was really hard on me as well, and like crying about that a little bit. So I cried when I saw my dad, because he was pretty emotional as well. And Melanie, I think he said he got emotional because when he was coming in, Melanie was just talking about how strong I had been and all of that. So that made him emotional all over again, even after hearing the story from my mom. So yeah, that was a little bit of a teary moment for me in the morning. Yeah, but anyway, after that, happy, everybody's there, meeting baby for the first time, and yeah, it was nice. He was so tiny, just even thinking about it. He was born pretty big because he was 3.6 kgs when he was born. So it was quite a big, I would say a big baby considering. He wasn't 4 point but I think he was still a pretty big baby. So it wasn't too tiny. But yeah, and yeah, that was that in the morning. And then from there, I think we really did. I think after that, it was just we grabbed lunch and all of that. Yeah, and I think our mothers did a bit of last minute shopping. I think there were a few things we had forgotten or didn't get enough of. So yeah, that was that in the morning because I couldn't really do anything. But yeah, that is my birth story. I don't know how this, yeah, this was a mishmash of me getting up 500 times because, and now he sleeps at the end of the video. Imagine how I feel. Imagine. But anyway, I hope this was enjoyable. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my birth story. I hope it was somewhat helpful. I know I watched a lot of these when I was pregnant. I watched a lot of positive birth stories. I think maybe mine it is positive. It was hard, but I think it's a positive birth story. Yeah, and I think it goes down to I chose the right people. So I would definitely recommend Estherea. I would definitely recommend Melanie. They are amazing. I think it's one of those things where it's like afterwards I felt like as much as like you pay them to do their job and to help you, it doesn't feel like you could pay someone enough money to help you in that way and to just be with you and support you like that. I mean, there's no amount of money I think that you can, yeah, I just felt like there's no price tag. So it's kind of like, yes, it was worth the money that I paid, but it also like I couldn't put a price tag on what they gave to me. Like in the same way that you can't put a price tag on love, and like in your relationships you can't put a price tag on that. That's what it felt like. Like it was just such a wholesome experience, and they are such loving people, such loving women, such supportive women. And it was just amazing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend them, and I'm so glad God led me to meeting those ladies. So yeah, and I think just like being able to have your husband there with you the whole time is honestly unmatched, and I think it creates such a nice bonding experience for all of you guys as a family. So yeah, I would 10 out of 10. But also I think what Bo Melanie had pointed to in the morning was, it was also nice that because I guess it was our first experience, but we were really on the same page about um doing this like naturally. So we didn't have, like, we hadn't been to a hospital before or stuff like that. So even when it was really hard, like my husband was still like you can keep going, like you can do this. There was never a moment where anyone was like, no, we have to go to the hospital now, or this and this. Like Melanie only brought it up when she did, because that's where basically I guess we work as whole, but matla ha yana fella mo, like that was where her expertise basically ended, I guess. Yeah, so it was that. I'm going on and on now, but thank you for watching, thank you for joining me, and yeah, anyway.